Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is November 12th of 2021. See, this is Friday, right? Yes. If it looks like I'm crying, I just had some General Chow's, General Tao's chicken from a well, we all three ordered something different, but, Mexican from the same place. And mine was kind of spicy. I like it that way, but let's see what else. So anyway, if it looks like I'm crying, it's not. Excuse me. Um, excuse me. Okay. Just woke up from a short nap and had a little dish more of the Chinese food, and I saw that there was a flag on my taskbar that the computer needed to reboot, and it was for Windows release for Windows 11, and it's build 22000.346, which actually I didn't see that, what I saw, and which shows up down here. I'm not sure what the difference is, but it's KB5007262. I did a YouTube video just the other day on an update, and this is like 2 days ago. It's KB5007215. So I don't know how they're, I don't know how their updates, I don't know how they number them. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I missed. I guess they got different things going. I don't know. It's over my head. Anyway, it says, hello, insiders. Today we're releasing Windows 11 build 22000.346. And then it says that it's, KB5007262. They're releasing it to Windows insiders in the beta and release preview channels. I think now that I think I've been in the release preview channels now for a while, I believe. It said it includes the following improvements, and the list is long, so I'm not going to go through and read them all to you. I'm just going to look for, I'll put a link to this, but I'm just going to, well, if you're in the Republic of Fiji, there's one here for you. Yeah, some of these things I think, might impact me, but a lot of these things I have no idea what they're really even talking about. So I will put the link below, but I'm also slowly scrolling down here so you could also pause maybe and then restart. Okay, I looked through this before this, and that's why I'm not really interested. I'm not really looking at it really. So they updated their something with their emoji, their little images or whatever. emojis. I never can get that right on the first try. So, also, anybody using Braille, there's something in here. You see, we fixed an issue that affects the Microsoft narrator users when they select Braille options and settings. Okay. When I started my bulletin board system in 1982, and I had to write my own BBS software to begin with in BASIC. But I continually worked on it, and fixed it. And there was more than one. There was especially one, but there was at least 2 or 3 people who were blind, and the person would leave a comment saying, there's a problem with because I'm blind and I use this, software that reads out. And so, like, I would have a header or something I filled, with, say, lines or something that were made up of X, 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 X or something again. And this guy would say, if you could cut that out. And so I would. But then next time, which was all the time I was working on it, I'd make some change and the thing would come back. That, not just that thing, but something else. I was always doing that stuff. And that was kind of a basic. I wrote that in BASIC. But of course, I'm sure the software that the people who are blind or have problems in that area, I'm sure the software and hardware and everything is. I knew a young lady who was wheelchair bound, and she was using at that time an Apple computer. Really nice young lady. She had to use a pencil in her mouth to type on a keyboard. And she got a bachelor's degree from University of Missouri at Kansas City. Can you imagine? And she's a really nice person, but she was concerned that what was going to happen when her parents died, and it turns out, she died before her parents did. But that's one thing. This is the end of the list here now. I've mentioned this before. I mean, I would be at a total loss without the computer. It tells me when money goes into my bank account, and when I pay bills, I pay online. I just do everything. And it's if the power goes off, like we were without power because of the power grid here in Texas, we were without for like 3 or 4 days. But I mean, any length of time, any problems like that makes it really, really difficult. I'm glad that in the infrastructure bill that's passed Congress, that I forget how many billions of dollars they're going to spend on making sure that everybody in the United States has access to the internet and to, high-speed internet. Because there's a lot of people, I forget what percentage of people who do not have access to the internet, or if they do, it's really expensive, or it's not fast enough. And anyway, the infrastructure bill on that part, it looks like it's got everything in there. Things like, I guess in a lot of countries outside of the United States, cities or states or provinces or whatever they call themselves, over there, well, one place like Singapore and Hong Kong and all these kind of places, they have faster, the United States, and but these places have super fast internet, faster than the United States. What's wrong? I mean, that's crazy. And then also in other countries, one of the things that they've done, probably in Canada, I'm sure, probably. See, part of the problem here is, the uh, our our thing on capitalism. I would be a big fan of. I'm a big fan of socialism, not communism. Socialism. But in the United States, the political thing, the Republicans were very smart. They started out making socialism, into being like communism, and now that has worked it worked so successfully that the Democratic Party had to give up, like using the word liberal. Now they've gone to saying, well, we're progressive, because the Republicans were just masterful in this thing of it was nonstop, and it was lying about everything. Everything was, oh, this is communism now. They're trying to push communism on us. They want, they want a minimum wage. They want a living wage. They want food stamps for people. They want, everything was, like, and the Republicans still, I don't think they're, well, then a while back they started using that the Democrats wanted to do away with Christmas, and every year now they come up and they use that because it works a little bit, and then there's other things. So, but anyway, the new infrastructure bill, there's multiple parts. Oh, the reason our system sucks so much here is in a lot of the world, what they can do, and here in the United States it's been made like basically illegal to do it. What they can do, like a city, say, I don't know, Amsterdam, or I don't know, Madrid or something like that. What they were able to do is the city government or the provincial government, or I don't know, how it's different, around the world. Let's say the city government over there could say, okay, we are installing cables. And I guess at the time they do it, it wouldn't just have to be, it could be, internet cables, or I guess it would be data cables, and even some other kind of cables, and they could just, have it, okay. And then it would be, okay, any internet provider, anybody who, gives services like that, you don't have to build your own cables out or try to broadcast it, or whatever. You can use our lines. The city or the state or whatever it is, you can use our lines. We have installed it. We're keeping it, it reaches everybody. And you can run your lines through there for a small charge. And but in the United States, there were laws passed. Oh no, you can't do that, because they wanted the individual cable providers wanted to have, sign a contract with the city. We'll bring in, high-speed internet and cable television into your city, but you can't let anybody else do that. And it just, it's stuff like that. Crazy, crazy stuff. And so now this new infrastructure bill is supposedly going to bring high-speed internet to everybody. So, and now of course we know about the satellites that are being launched by different companies, filling the sky with thousands and thousands, satellites that are giving people fast internet service right now. But this new infrastructure bill has it in there. It stops, or it allows uh, cities, jurisdictions of any sort, if you want to, install it, then you can make it available to everybody at, a minimal charge. If, some company wants to compete, they can compete. And that works in other, in other countries. And see, what else is there? Universal. Everybody would have the right to also uh, they'll help in the cost. Right now, the United States pays. We have the highest prices for, internet service. I pay $108 a month, and I get 400 meg down. Now, for about $30 more a month, I could have 1 meg down. I forget on the upspeed. Well, for the upspeed for 400, it's 20 up, 20 meg up, and 400 down. That's really fine. I mean, I do fine with that. My grandson, who lives in the same apartment complex, he loves the game, and he's using the same company, and he's paying $30 more than what I'm paying, and he's getting 1 meg down. I'm not sure what the upspeed is. I'll guess 40, instead of 20 megs, I'm guessing 40. I don't know. So they're going to have high-speed internet, hopefully for everybody, at a reasonable price. And there's some other stuff, related to that. And then, of course, there's other things in the infrastructure bill. And it should create a lot of jobs. I'm 80 years old and I have trouble getting around. That's not why I'm sitting in a wheelchair. My ex-wife has, she's, permanently disabled. She's in a wheelchair. She's either in bed or in her wheelchair, at her computer. That's it. So, and with the Medicare that she has, she's supposed to be able to get, a wheelchair or other things that she needs. And some of those things she can get. And in the beginning, she could get a wheelchair, she could get a wheelchair in the beginning. But our system is so messed up. Oh, I forgot to mention, I think maybe I did mention it. The United States, we pay more for internet service than anybody else. And are we in the top 5, 7? No. Other nations around the world, their internet service is cheaper, faster, more dependable than us. I don't know where we rank. Probably do a search. We're probably 25th or something. Same with medical care. We pay more for medical care than any other country. And the medical care is, it's good, but it totally, destroys people. Even if you have, health insurance, it still will, if you have the wrong disease or something, it will just wipe out your savings. I worked at 10 years, I worked altogether 30 years hospital security, but I worked for 10 years. I worked for this, they built the hospital out in a town that I lived in, a small town. And so the main company where I worked security, the hospital, I got to go out, I had to file a grievance in order to do it, but I got to go out there, and I was out there for 10 years. The weekly newspaper out there published information, like it would publish a small newspaper, weekly. They published, who got arrested, what stopped by the local police or the sheriffs, whatever, who got stopped and arrested, and they put all that in there, of course. They also had a legal thing in this was in Belton, Missouri, but right down the highway was the county's county seat off, where the courthouse was and everything. So every week, I worked at a small hospital, Research Belton Hospital, part of Health Midwest Corporation, And in the local newspaper, there would be, wait a minute, there would be a list of people who appeared or were supposed to appear before the judge, because the little hospital that I worked at there, people came in for medical care and couldn't pay their bill, and that little hospital, actually was the corporation, but sued them in court, and that was every week. I mean, it was long, and so I got off the subject, I think, but maybe I enlightened you a little bit, especially if you were in some other country. I think that's it. It is 8 p.m. Seems I'm always a little confused because I don't work, and I end up, taking naps. I mean, I don't lay down with the idea of taking a nap, but that's the way it works out, because I have to get up and urinate because I have enlarged prostate, and I have my kidney system, bladder system, or whatever is, messed up. I want to say it's a pain in the butt, but it's not a pain in the butt. It's a pain someplace else. Actually, it's not a pain so much. What it is that problem. The secondary problem is, like everybody else, my bladder fills up, and then my body sends a signal: you need to urinate, Jim. And then I go and urinate. But my bladder is, filled up. But then I urinate a little bit, and my body sends a signal: okay, you emptied it, Jim. Well, I didn't. And that's a problem. I won't go into all the reasons that it's a problem, but believe me, it's a problem. And I had a test at a hospital for that, and I kind of knew, well, for 24 hours I had to measure my urine and put down the date and the time that I went. And then I had to take that with me when I went to the hospital. When I went to the hospital, I brought that in before. When I got to the hospital, I had to urinate, so I went in there, and I added that to my list, and then went, and there was two nurses, or I'm not sure they were nurses or technicians or whatever. And I gave them the paperwork, and they looked at them. They said, "Is your well?" They had like a high chair sort of thing, but it was up in the air. I was like up there, and they were down. Well, they were just at the right level to be doing the work they needed to be doing. And I knew why they had me, why they had that thing arranged like that. Then they handed me also the remote control for the television set. And I knew, even though I'd never had a test like this done before, I knew the reason for that was so that I wouldn't hit them. Or, the worst I could have done was, taken and thrown that thing, against the wall or crushed it with my hand. I knew and thought, oh my God, I'd never had a catheter put in me before. And they said, so your bladder is empty? And I said, yes. And so then they inserted the catheter. Oh my God. Bad. The pain, I mean, I knew, I didn't want to. Actually, I was squeezing on this thing. I thought, if this thing's, but they probably had a whole case of defective ones, remote controls that don't work or even have a battery in them or something, And so then, like I was up there too, and they were down there at the correct level for doing their work. And then they said, so your bladder was empty? I said, yeah. And they brought up the beaker filled, And so anyway, that's when I had an official diagnosis of my problem, which, I have to, live with and plan everything around, that. Anyway, I don't think there's, well, let's jump over here to here. Oops, you can't see that. So 2 days ago, I did the video on the Windows 11 update. I'm happy with Windows 11 and it, but my Dell, I think it was, that's in the closet, it can't be upgraded to Windows 11. My son has which he's still using, but he's got some problems with it. But it doesn't have the hard, and it has a faster processor than mine does, and a little something, or my Dell, and he can't upgrade, can't upgrade it. So I'm using the B-Link, I think it is. And it's working okay for me. I think the audio is working okay also with this. What I've got to remember is, I've had so much trouble with audio. What I got to remember is, each time before I start to record, let me drag this over so you can see it. Let me minimize this so it doesn't confuse you. Oops, that confuses you. There you go. So what I need to do, see here on the right where it's microphone Yeti. So what I need to do is, and what I've found is that sometimes it's out of sync. But what I do is I just click this X, cancel the microphone. And then I just click here and pick it again, and then I'm back. Okay, so that's another thing I need to do. See if I can enlarge this full screen. There we go. Oh God. I've never done that before, full screen, by the way. But this is a control thing for, I keep it over on this screen over here. So I'm very happy with Windows 11. It's working okay for me. Some things they're just not quite up to, they put it out, and there's a few things that just don't, sometimes I click on something down here and it doesn't work the way it's supposed to or work at all. But then like there'll be an update and then the thing gets fixed. So it's fine. It's, but if you're one of those people who can only use Windows 10, they're still updating it, Windows 10. If you just are if you're stuck, if you don't want to buy a new computer that will run Windows 11, Windows 10 is fine. I was happy with Windows 10. I mean, you always like to have, a little something else, but oh, one of the movies that I like a lot, I've watched it quite a few times over the years, The Flim Flam Man, and it's we pay for several services: Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, but a lot of stuff isn't, it's not there. And of course, you can go to like Amazon, and if it's not on Amazon Prime, you could probably pay, but I try not to do that. I paid for the new Fatima movie that came out, but that's rare. That was rare. I mean, I very rarely do that. But anyway, the Flim Flam Man is a movie that I really liked, and somebody quite a few years ago just set up their camera, a bad camera, aimed at their television screen and put a microphone up close to their television, and they recorded it. So finally, when I just couldn't find it anymore, and I didn't want to pay for it because I'd seen it so many times. I don't know, a few years back or something. I watched it, At the end of the movie, they cut it, I knew how the ending ended, but they cut just a few seconds. They stopped recording it. But I thought a few days ago, I thought, well, I can't find anything to, there's tons of stuff, but I don't like a lot of this stuff. And I thought, well, I'd be just happy to watch the Flim Flam Man again, but I don't want to watch that one with the crummy audio and the crummy video, And I thought, I wonder if, and so I went to, YouTube and did a search for Flim Flam Man, and bang, it's there. And it's not somebody who recorded it off of a TV screen. It's there. And so I watched it again. So anyway, oh, you can't. There again. Wait a minute. Then I'm going to say goodbye to you. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Wouldn't hurt to give a thumbs up. Anyway, thank you very much.